You don't have to be open to everyone. You're not obligated to share your heart just because someone wants a piece of it. Some people just want access, not connection. They're drawn to your warmth, your light, your giving nature, but not because they cherish it. They come close to feel it, to feed off of it, and then leave you drained. And if you've ever felt like you're giving too much, staying too long, or explaining yourself to people who don't even deserve your truth, you're not alone. We've been conditioned, especially those of us who are empathetic or emotionally aware, to believe that protecting our peace is rude, that saying no is selfish, that setting boundaries means we're cold. So instead, we overextend, we overgive, we overshare, hoping it makes us more understood, more accepted, more human. But what it really does is expose us, emotionally, spiritually, energetically. And that kind of exposure, without discernment, is costly. Because not everyone can hold your truth with care. Not everyone honors your softness. And not everyone is safe with your story. Being kind doesn't mean being constantly available. Being open-hearted doesn't mean being boundaryless. You can have a beautiful soul and still say, no, not today. You can love deeply and still walk away when love isn't returned. You can care and still choose distance. Your energy is not public property. Your peace is not up for debate. You don't owe anyone your time just because they ask for it. You don't owe everyone access to your mind just because they're curious. And you certainly don't have to keep giving to people who only take. You'll know when you're giving too much to the wrong people. You'll feel it, in the heaviness after a conversation, in the silence of not being seen, in the way you shrink yourself to avoid confrontation, or how your needs feel like a burden. You'll hear it in your own inner voice, the one that keeps whispering, "Why am I still here?" And that voice isn't being dramatic, it's being honest. It's tired of watching you water dead plants, tired of you trying to heal people who don't want to change, tired of watching you explain your value to people committed to misunderstanding you. Protecting your energy doesn't mean building walls, it means recognizing who drains you and who fills you. It means understanding the difference between presence and pressure. And sometimes the strongest boundary is silence. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you pulled back. If your peace was compromised, that's reason enough. And you don't always have to burn bridges, you can simply stop offering fuel. Trust your intuition. It's not lying to you. If something feels off, it is. The body knows. The spirit knows. Honor that knowing. Keep your circle small but soulful. Prioritize those who reciprocate, not just consume. Let distance be your decision without guilt. You're not being mean. You're being mindful. Protecting your energy is not about closing your heart. It's about valuing it. It's about recognizing that your softness is sacred, not up for public handling. Not everyone who smiles at you deserves a piece of you. Not everyone who shows interest has pure intentions. And just because someone asks doesn't mean you owe them your story, your time, or your presence. You don't owe the world your constant availability. Your energy, your presence, your attention, they are privileges, not obligations. And the more you begin to recognize that, the more powerful you become. You begin to notice how often you've been giving out of habit, not alignment. How many conversations you've stayed in just to avoid discomfort. How often you've explained yourself to people who weren't even listening. There's a kind of peace that comes when you stop performing for approval and start honoring your inner voice instead. That voice that whispers, "You don't need to prove your worth here." That gentle knowing that says you're allowed to walk away even if no one understands why. The truth is, not everyone is meant to go with you. Some people were only chapters, not your entire story. They were lessons in boundaries, not lifelong companions. And the more you cling to what drains you, the less room you have for what restores you. Your peace is precious. Your nervous system is not designed to be in survival mode all the time, responding to every text, every demand, every crisis. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to step back. You're allowed to not respond right away or at all. And if someone equates your silence with rejection, let them. You're not responsible for managing their interpretations. You're responsible for protecting your alignment. Trust yourself enough to pull away when it no longer feels right. Trust that the discomfort of letting go is far better than the pain of holding on to what has already expired. The people who truly love you will understand your boundaries, even if they don't fully agree with them. They'll adjust, not attack. They'll stay, not guilt you into staying. If someone only values you when you're constantly accessible, that's not love. It's dependency. And you deserve more than being someone's emotional crutch. You deserve presence, reciprocity, safety. You deserve relationships that don't require you to shrink. It's not your job to carry connections on your back. If someone can't meet you halfway, let the distance speak for itself. Some things don't need a confrontation, just less energy, less explaining, less effort, and more self-trust. You don't always have to have the last word. Sometimes the most mature thing you can do is say nothing and go. That's not avoidance, it's self-respect. Emotional maturity is knowing when to engage and when to preserve your peace. It's choosing not to fight every battle, not to explain every decision, not to justify every boundary. You are not cold for choosing peace. You are not heartless for wanting stillness. You are not selfish for protecting your energy. You are sacred. And sacred things are not meant to be handled carelessly or shared recklessly. What you carry inside you, your light, your softness, your wisdom, is not for public consumption. It's for those who show they can hold it with care. The more you grow, the more you'll realize how much of your peace was being disturbed by things you allowed. Conversations you entertained out of politeness, spaces you stayed in out of habit, people you gave to out of guilt. But now, you're evolving. And part of that evolution is choosing where your energy flows. It's realizing that peace is not passive, it's powerful. That calm is not weakness, it's clarity. That your silence is not absence, it's intention. You no longer feel the need to over-explain, overshare, or overstay. You can simply listen to your body, your spirit, and choose to step back without fanfare. That's what strength looks like now. Not reaction, not confrontation, not justification. Just presence where it's welcome and absence where it's not. You are allowed to conserve your energy. You are allowed to protect your light. You are allowed to close the door without announcing why. If someone really values you, they won't need constant access to prove it. They'll respect your need to breathe. They'll appreciate the quiet spaces. They'll understand that your distance isn't rejection. It's alignment. You've simply learned that not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. And that's not bitterness, that's maturity. That's healing. That's the beautiful result of growth, when you stop chasing validation and start choosing peace. You don't have to wait for burnout to draw a line. You don't need pain to justify a boundary. You don't need chaos to earn your rest. You're allowed to choose ease. You're allowed to be soft and strong at the same time. You're allowed to be kind and clear. And most of all, you're allowed to keep evolving without explaining every step. Some people will misunderstand your boundaries, your silence, your distance. Let them. You are not here to be decoded. You are here to be honored, not handled. You've learned that access to your heart is a privilege, not a guarantee. You've learned that your story, your truth, your presence is not a currency to be spent on the ungrateful. And most importantly, you've learned that choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's sacred.